Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Edwin, and welcome to my AI tutorial for beginner series, lesson number 1. Let's look at what it says on the first slide. You too can get comfortable with AI. Let's look at that for a second, okay? You may be a stay-at-home mom or a small business owner not comfortable yet with AI. You don't need to be technical. You just need to be like a little young child, curious about everything. You're here to explore and not to get everything perfect or to understand everything the first time around. Let's move on. Sorry about that. Sometimes my slide hangs up with the computer. Okay, so now you've heard a lot about ChatGPT and you're not really sure what it is. You've heard many things. And you probably have heard words like AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, machine learning, and whatnot. But what if I were to tell you that it's just a tool? It is a computer program that is able to talk back to you in a human way, in a simple way. Let's try to understand what all this means. Now, think of AI as the world's largest library. It contains all the information in the world from China, India, Italy, Greece, United Kingdom, etc., etc., etc. And it is the world's largest library, meaning all the information in the world is contained in one central location. And that's basically what AI is. Now, let's look at the slide for a second. Okay, I need to go over a couple of things because you need to get familiar with a couple of things for you to understand better what AI is as you move along in this journey now that you're getting, that you're experiencing. So let's look at the LLM. What is that? The large language model. Okay, there's a difference between the large language model and ChatGPT. Let's go a little further. First of all, you need to know that all the information in the world that's been put into that library, the AI library, or the world's largest library, it dates back all the way 5,000 years back to the present, to October 2024. That was the last time that AI was updated, and it will continue to be updated, but now you know that it dates back 5,000 years, 3,200 BCE, excuse me. So what does this vast collection represent? The large language model is the brain behind AI. It's the brain. So we'll try to make a little more sense of that. So the digital library has read, think of the large language model as someone that has read every single book in the world on any kind of information. And then what it does, it's been trained and it understands how words connect, how ideas flow, and how language works. It's learned patterns from billions of sentences, so it knows what usually comes next when you start a thought. In other words, it's been trained to talk back to you. So basically, in simple words, it's been trained to talk back to you like a human. But it uses all the training that us humans provided it in order to make connections, how to put sentences together, what words to use, what word comes next, etc. And that's how it's able to speak back to you like a human. Now, think about this for a second. Create an image in your mind. Picture this library. If you can picture this library, close your eyes and think of a library of the last library you went into. If you already understand that AI is nothing more than the largest library in the world, then you understand AI better than the majority of people. ChatGPT is your friendly librarian. Okay, so now let's look at what it's trying to say here. Okay, so AI is what? The library. Okay, so the LLM is the library. So now let's look at what ChatGPT is, because people confuse ChatGPT with the LLM, the two separate parts. So ChatGPT, look at it as the librarian you speak to when you go to the library. You go into the library. Remember when you used to do go and do school reports for school? I remember I went in there and I asked the librarian, and at that time they didn't have computers, and they would go to a little wooden file cabinet and go through index cards to find the book or the information that I needed. Okay, so now inside that enormous library lives ChatGPT. So think of ChatGPT as the librarian that you go to when you need information from AI. Think of ChatGPT as the librarian, and an LLM, large language model, the AI brain, is where all the books, all the information recorded throughout the world is saved at. So now, when you ask a question, ChatGPT doesn't point you to a shelf. It walks through the aisles, reads the relevant pages, then sits down with you to explain what you need in clear conversational language. You get answers without having to search through millions of sources yourself. Example, you go to Google and you search, what you get there is a bunch of links, right? When you can find information by going to Google, and then it displays 10 links to a page, and then you click through the links and read through the information yourself until you understand the information that you're reading, and now you got your answer. With ChatGPT, it goes and does all the reading for you, then it comes back to you and presents it in a way, in a summarized way for you to understand, instead of you wasting time, maybe hours, doing that research, utilizing Google. But now a ChatGPT can get all that done for you in a matter of minutes. So now this AI tutorial specific is for everyone. It's made for everyone. Now, if you're a business owner and you're watching this, you're probably in the same boat as many people that are watching this video tutorial right now on AI. You're curious. You might be a little confused about AI, possibly a little afraid to learn it for whatever reason. Maybe you think you may not be able to learn it. It's too difficult. No, it's not. I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. It's very simple once you understand the basic concept. But if you're a business owner, I'm here to tell you that this tutorial is here for you too. It is strictly the basics of AI. It's not showing you how to use AI in your business, but there will be a later tutorial once we complete a particular series, where I'll go into how you as a business owner can utilize AI to help you save time in your business. Basically, that's the whole purpose of AI, is to help you save time and make better decisions. Let's move on. Okay, I set this up. I set this up. I was a little hesitant, but I felt that you needed a glossary. You need to understand definitions related to AI. So we're going to spend just a couple of minutes to go over these, so that when you hear these again, they're not completely unfamiliar, but now you've heard them and you can always come back here and review them yourself. Okay, so now let's look at the first one, AI, artificial intelligence. What does it say there? A computer system that can think and learn a little like a person does. It recognizes patterns, makes decisions, and improves over time. Example, YouTube recommending videos you'll love based on what you've watched before. Or let's say you got Netflix and it recommends videos based on the type of videos that you're watching. So AI, artificial intelligence, works similar to that. Now let's look at machine learning over here. Machine learning, all right, now it's how AI practices and gets better over time. Okay, it's just like, you remember when you started roller skating? I remember you were unbalanced, or when you rode your first bike, you were unbalanced, and eventually you got better and better at it as you kept practicing, you kept learning, and eventually you learned how to balance, right? So machine learning is nothing more than AI getting better over time, just like you did in basketball through repeated practice and learning from mistakes. For example, your phone's autocorrect getting better at predicting what you want to type. Let's go look at algorithm down here. Okay, so algorithm is nothing more than it's a series of step-by-step instructions guiding something to do a specific task. A computer program is nothing more than a series of step-by-step instructions that guides the computer through a specific task that the user, me, wants the computer to perform for him. Okay, so an example, it says here, a recipe that tells you exactly what steps to follow to bake perfect cookies. Okay, now model. Now let's look at model. Model, the brain that AI uses has been trained by reading massive amounts of information to understand patterns. Example, ChatGPT's brain was trained on millions of books, articles, and websites. So there are different models, and we'll be discussing that. Right now, the current updated model is ChatGPT 5. There are other models, but ChatGPT 5 is the latest model. Let's look at some more essential terms. We already went over large language model. Let's look at what prompt is. Prompt engineering. When you hear prompt engineering, think of it as when someone talks about prompt engineering related to AI, it's nothing more than you telling ChatGPT, you're talking to it, what you're looking for, what you want. It's for example, write me a bedtime story about a robot cat who dreams of becoming a chef. That's prompt engineering. That's writing an instruction to ChatGPT to give you what you want, whatever it is. Token. It's a tiny piece of word that AI uses to process language. It's how the AI thinks about text in manageable chunks. Example, the word cat equals 1 token, but caterpillar equals 2 tokens because it's longer. Eventually, that'll make sense later on. The point is for you to just at least understand these basic terms and the definitions. Okay, so now what makes ChatGPT so special? It's a assistant, and the more you know how to utilize it, the more efficiently your assistant will work for you. So now let's see what the slide says. ChatGPT is a conversational AI system powered by large language model. It can help you write essays, learn new topics, plan projects, brainstorm ideas, or just have an interesting conversation. Think of it as a combination of a tutor, writing partner, creative collaborator, all rolled into one friendly interface. Unlike a simple search engine that gives you links, ChatGPT usually understands your questions and crafts personalized responses. I just mentioned to you a little while ago about when you search for something on Google, it gives you a whole bunch of links and you got to do the research yourself. So now, the important thing is it remembers the context of your conversation. Important. So you can have a back and forth dialogue just like you would with a real person. So it starts getting to know you and it saves everything. It starts learning everything about you and what your interest is and anything else that you're using ChatGPT for. And then you can ask ChatGPT to reference it. Oh, I forgot about this chat that we had. It had to do with this and this. Can you go and look up that conversation we had? And it'll do that for you. Okay? So it's always learning as it's learning for me. And that's one of the things I love about ChatGPT. I use Claude. I use another one, which is Claude, which is it's better for coding. And it does give more in-depth answers. Unfortunately, sometimes it's overkill. So I like to I go back to ChatGPT, but I use both. I go back and forth and I compare responses. The best part is down here it says you don't need any technical knowledge to use it. You just type in what you're thinking in plain English and responds to you in a kind way. Note, now you've gone from hearing about AI to actually understanding how it talks. Let's see ChatGPT in action. Now I'm going to give you a little demonstration on how ChatGPT works. Okay, let me get out of this slide. All right, we're going to ask ChatGPT, explain AI like I'm 10 years old. Watch what happens when we type the simple question. ChatGPT walks through its vast library of knowledge, finds the most relevant information, then explains it in words like a 10-year-old. No jargon, no complexity. This is the librarian at work, searching, understanding your needs, delivering exactly what you asked for in language that makes sense to you. The AI isn't just copying information, it's truly understanding your request and crafting a custom response designed for your level of understanding. So let's go to ChatGPT. Okay, I'm already logged in. Let's go back to the AI tutor. Okay, so the tutor says, excuse me, the demo, it instructs me to write a prompt. Okay, explain AI like I'm 10 years old. That is a prompt. Okay, now let's go over this. First of all, this is a prompt. This is prompt engineering. It's nothing more. Prompt engineering or a prompt is nothing more than than the question that you ask to ChatGPT and you instruct it to give you a certain information. So right here, what I'm instructing, this is an instruction to ChatGPT, explain AI like I'm 10 years old. So now it's going to do that. Now, you're wondering, why did I put 10 years old? All right. The reason to do that, very important. Even I instruct ChatGPT to explain things like a 13-year-old, 10-year-old. Why? Because I want to understand quickly the responses. Sometimes the responses can be very technical, but if I tell it to explain it in a 13-year-old, 10-year-old fashion, it explains it in a way that anybody can understand. And that's how I create my tutorials. I try to avoid jargon, and I try to keep you, the visitor, future subscriber, from getting confused by trying to explain things in a very simple fashion that anyone can understand, whether they have a college degree or not. So let's run this prompt. The way you run it, you come over here, click on the arrow right here. Okay, here's what it says. Here's AI explain like you're 10 years old. Simple, clear, no big words. What is AI? Super simple version. Imagine you have a super robot helper, but this robot is made out of metal. It lives inside your computer or phone. The robot can read almost anything, remember patterns, learns from tons of information, talk to you like a real person. The super smart robot brain is called AI. What is ChatGPT then? If AI is the robot brain, ChatGPT is the friendly robot you can talk to. Think of it like this: AI equals the brain, ChatGPT, the character you talk to that uses the brain. A simple analogy, the best one for kids. Imagine the biggest library in the world. The library equals all the information in the world. The library shelves and organization equals how it learns where everything goes. This is machine learning. The librarian, the person who talks to you, understands your question, then goes finds the answer. This is ChatGPT. So AI equal giant library, LLM, the brain, how the library organizes all the books. ChatGPT is your friendly librarian who you go speak to when you go to the library and tell them you need this particular book on geography, history that you're going to write a report on. Example, why is the sky blue? ChatGPT, the librarian, because of how sunlight scatters in the atmosphere. It finds the answer by searching through its library brain. Another analogy, if you play games, the game engine equals the powerful brain. The character you talk to or play equal ChatGPT, the controller, your keyboard, how you communicate. ChatGPT uses the brain to talk to you. One more simple way. Think of AI like a super smart puzzle solver. You give it pieces, your question, and quickly puts the puzzle together, your answer. ChatGPT is the thing that talks to you while you're solving it. Let's go back now to the slide. Now you have a better understanding. Okay, so now take a second to reflect on what we just went through, okay? I want you to do this. Take a moment to reflect. What clicked for you in this tutorial today? What part of today's lesson made AI suddenly feel easier to understand? Was it the library metaphor, the glossary terms, seeing it in action? Okay. And another thing, what would you ask if you could ask the librarian anything right now about your homework, a hobby, or just something you're curious about? What would that question be? Okay. Keep in mind that question. If you want, you can drop a comment, share your thoughts on what that question would be. Okay, so now keep in mind now you're 80%, you're ahead of the curve of most people. 80% of adults can't explain what AI or ChatGPT actually means. Now you can. Now you know. A quick review. AI is the brain. That's where the library is. And ChatGPT is the librarian that you speak to and go gets the information inside the brain. Congratulations. You're ahead. You're ahead of most of the other people, 80% of the people. Now you can explain it your own way using the library analogy, AI being the brain, the library, and ChatGPT being the librarian. Okay, ready for your first conversation with AI? Okay, what you've learned, what AI and ChatGPT are and how they work. Next up, creating your free account, sending your very first message, your journey, walking into the world's largest library together. Coming in lesson 2, your first chat with AI. In our next lesson, we'll walk into that vast library together. I'll show you step by step how to create your free ChatGPT account, and you'll send your very first message to the AI librarian. Remember, no technical skills are required, just curiosity, a willingness to explore. See you there. All right. Do me a favor, if you like this tutorial, give me a like, hit subscribe if you found it useful, helpful. Also, by the way, leave a comment. Understand ChatGPT better if you finally know the difference between AI, ChatGPT, and LLM, which is the AI, the brain. Take care. See you on the next lesson.